sir.
Yeah.
Hi, Aarti.
So, Aarti,
Hello.
if you could say a few lines about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm from Mumbai and I'm from INFD Andheri. Okay, so my name is Tasane and I teach fashion illustrations to the group of like we have batches.
Okay.
Aarti, you are on mute right now. Aarti, you are.
Okay, so hi again, everyone. And I am Aarti Sasane, once again repeating for the thrice. So I teach fashion illustrations and my main subject is foundation for the first years for all 3 batches which we teach. So yes, I am from Mumbai and I am the Andheri batch.
Good.
Good, fantastic, Aarti.
Okay. The next
Yeah,
person is Srushti Shah from Aurangabad. Srushti,
hi. Yeah.
Hi, Srushti.
Hello, I'm Srishti Shah from Aurangabad. I teach illustration and design process to second year.
Oh, great, fantastic. Next.
Next is Siddharth from Bhubaneswar. Siddharth, are you here? He hasn't turned up. Okay, so we have Divya from Chandigarh.
Jasveen, I'm here. Jasveen.
Okay. Sorry. Siddharth, carry on.
Yeah, so I'm Siddharth. I'm from Cuttack and I teach at INFD Bhubaneswar. I teach in the fashion design department.
Brilliant, fantastic. Am I audible to all you people? Can you just confirm?
Yes.
Great, fantastic. Okay.
We have Divya now from Chandigarh.
Yeah. Hi. Myself Divya. I'm from INFD Chandigarh. I have done post-graduation in fashion designing from Punjab University, and currently I'm teaching in INFD Chandigarh, and the subjects which I handle is marketing, visual merchandising, and even the design process.
Fantastic.
Eti from Interiors, Chandigarh. Eti, are you here?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. This is Iti. I'm from INFD Chandigarh. And I teach few parts of fundamental design, and my strong suit is sustainable design.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay.
Okay, then Pooja. Pooja from which center is this? Pooja is from Dharwad. Pooja, are you here? No. Pooja.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Okay, Pooja.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Pooja. How are you?
I'm Pooja from INFD Dharwad.
Okay, carry on.
It's Karnataka.
Karnataka.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I take interior designing. Right now, it's a new institute here in Dharwad. It's just 1 year past. Before this, I was in Hubli. Right now I'm handling all the subjects for ID.
Okay, great, fantastic.
So we have Sneha from Gurgaon, fashion.
Hi.
Hi, Sneha.
Hi, I'm Sneha, and I studied fashion design from University of Arts, London. I now teach in Gurgaon. I teach fashion styling, design process for second years, and illustration for first years. Yeah.
Okay. So then we have Varsha again from Gurgaon, interiors. Varsha, are you here? No, Varsha. Okay. So then we have Chinky. Chinky from Guwahati.
Varsha ma'am is there. She's on mute.
Who? Sneha?
Varsha.
Varsha ma'am.
Acha, she's on mute. So tell her to unmute herself.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Varsha Shukla from INFD Gurgaon. I'm a faculty of interior designing, and my photo of construction and all over most.
आपके नेटवर्क में कुछ इशू है आपकी आवाज
There's a big problem, I think.
Yeah. Chalo, we've got the gist. Okay.
Okay, Varsha. Okay, fine.
Varsha. So we have Chinky from Guwahati. Chinky, are you here? Okay. So moving on, we have Anmol from Ghatkopar.
Yes. Hi everyone, I am Anmol Chaudhary. I teach in INFD Ghatkopar. I have done my fashion designing from INFD Vashi and NIFT Mumbai. And I take design process, portfolio development, and manufacturing process in INFD Ghat.
Okay. So the next one is Swati from Bangalore, HSR Bangalore.
Yeah, hi, this is Swati from INFHSR Layout Bangalore. And hi. So I teach subjects like surface ornamentation, textile care and finishes, and the history of all the history of fashion. And I've done my UG in NIFT in textile designing, and I've worked as a print designer for like almost 6 to 7 years. And I've been part of INFT for the last 1.5 years.
Oh, that's great. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay, then we have Pratibha from Himayatnagar, Hyderabad.
Hi everyone, I'm Pratibha. I'm fashion design faculty from Hyderabad, Himayatnagar, and I'm taking mostly textile subject. Thank you.
Okay, then we have Misha from Hyderabad.
Hi, I am Misha from Hyderabad, and I'm HOD of Interior Design Department, and I'm associated with INFD from last 7 years.
Wow.
My goodness, that's quite a stint, huh? Seriously. That's great. Kind of long.
So then we have Veena from Jaipur. Veena Khandelwal. Not here? Okay. Then Akshay from Jodhpur.
Good afternoon, sir, ma'am. I Akshay. I studied from London College of Fashion and Delhi Pearl Academy, and I'm HOD at Jodhpur Fashion Department. And it's been 7 years I'm teaching here, and I teach almost second year, third year subjects rather than PMGC. And in first year, I take textiles, history, and design process.
Fantastic. 7 years. Wow. Great.
Okay, then Neha from Pune, Kondwa.
Yes. Hi, ma'am. I'm Mrs. Neha Desai from INIFD, Kondwa. I'm teaching pattern making and garment construction, and I'm into the teaching for nearly 10 years now. With INIFD, I'm for the past 4 years.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then we have Anushri. Anushri from Kanpur. Anushri, are you here? No. Okay, then we have Ridhima from Ludhiana. Ridhima, fashion design Ludhiana? No. Pooja from interior design Ludhiana? No. Sneha from Lindsay Street, Calcutta? किसी को सुन नहीं रहा है कि कोई है ही नहीं है? मुझे शक हो गया कि मेरी आवाज कहीं जा नहीं रही है. अच्छा. Okay, स्नेहा भी नहीं है. Okay, Swarnima from Nasik.
I'm here.
You are.
Hello,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Swarnima Saran from INFD Nasik, and I'm associated with INFD since 2003 over here in Nasik.
Wow.
I'm taking care of fashion department, and I'm taking few more subjects also like manufacturing, then design process also, and many others too.
17 years, my goodness, that's quite a stint, and I'll take a bow. I'll just accept my bow, yeah, seriously. 17 years in one place.
Not here, continuously, I was not here, on and off, but then I was.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay.
Okay, then Monica from Patiala. Monica, are you here? No. Okay, then we have Amrita from Pimpri, Pune.
Hello everyone, I am Amrita Atle from INFD Pimpri. I am a design graduate from NIFT, and I teach interior design department, basically the design foundation.
Okay. Then we have Sandra from Pune.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
You haven't called my name.
अच्छा, because we were just, we have two people from each center, so आप थोड़ा सा आपको बाद में करते हैं, ठीक है?
Okay.
So, we'll do that later. So I'm just covering because officially there are just two people from one center that we're taking in. So
Okay.
let me just get back to you. Okay. Sandra from Pimpri, Pune. Sandra, you were here. I think I saw you.
Sorry, my mic was off.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
It was on mute.
Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am.
How are you?
Fine, ma'am. Thank you. I'm Mrs. Sandra Fernandez from Pune. At present, I'm a principal at the Pune Center. I joined as a GCPM teacher around three and a half years ago. But I graduated slowly from a visiting faculty to the HOD, and since last year, I'm principal. Now I teach theory subjects, and I used to teach garment construction and pattern making till last year. Now I've taken up all the theory subjects in the third year PG, like structure of apparel marketing, promotional product management, and history, English.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we have Emmy from Panvel, fashion design. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Emmy. Yeah, Emmy, you're muted.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, this is Ami, and I teach at INF Panvel. I've been associated with INFT since 2000. I think 11 I joined, and with Panvel I'm there for since 5 years. I usually take fashion foundation, illustration, design concept, and history. These are the main subjects.
Fantastic.
Okay, then we have Pallavi from Panvel, interior design.
Hello, ma'am. I am from INFT Panvel. I am associated in INFT Panvel since last 4 years. I have done my architecture from Nagpur, and before that, before coming to Panvel, I was practicing interior designing, and I am the head of the department for the interior department in Panvel. And I take residential studio, basic design, history, art and architecture for both the years, services and materials. So basically, I'm into theory subjects. It is only the residential studio that I take up.
Oh. Varsha, could you mute yourself because आपका I think कुछ disturbance आ रही है पीछे से. Okay, then we have Mena again from Rajkot.
Yes, hello ma'am. My name is Maina. Actually, I have done my fashion styling from London, and right now I am a fashion illustrator in third year. I'm taking third year, and basic fashion foundation I am also taking.
Good. Okay, then we have another person from Rajkot, Himakshi. Is that correct? Himakshi? Is she here? Maina, if you would know the other person from Rajkot, is she present?
She present, but ma'am, I think she is mute. I think video also.
Maybe she's not here.
हाँ मैम वो है उसने वीडियो ऑफ रखा है.
अच्छा, वीडियो ऑफ ना करें तो अच्छा है because we're just trying to get a little face to face.
Yes, right.
Yeah, so if you could, maybe tell her from our side. Chalo, we'll come back to her later.
Okay.
Figured out. So then we have Vijay from Raipur. Vijay Void, I think.
Yeah. Hello, this is Vijay from Raipur. I take fashion foundation, fashion illustration, and design process here in INFT Raipur. Thank you.
Okay. Then Richa from Roorkee. Not here. Okay, then Aarti from Surat. Aarti was here. Hi, Aarti. Kahan gayi Aarti?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Aarti.
Hi, Khemraj sir. I'm so glad to see you face to face, and I'm actually teaching all the 3 years in many subjects. But basically, my forte is traditional textiles and design concept. I love teaching colors and all these things, and I'm associated with INFD since last 21 years. That's from the day of its inception. So, thank you, sir. Thank you. And happy Handloom Day to all, because I am a strong preacher of handloom. So,
oh really?
Minimalist. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Fantastic.
Okay, then we have Hetal from Surat. Hetal Chauhan.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ
Hello,
जी।
Jasmine ma'am. How are you?
I'm very fine, Hetal. आप बताओ?
I'm architect Hetal Chauhan from Surat, INFD. I'm associated here since 16 years.
आप झूले पे बैठे हो?
Hello.
हाँ, आप झूले पे बैठे हो, मैंने कहा
Yes.
हाँ, झूल आप रहे हो,
in my native, ma'am, in my native place.
अच्छा, that's
I am
nice.
teaching. I'm handling interior design. Hello.
Yeah,
Can
we
you
can
hear me?
carry on. Yeah.
I'm teaching the subject mainly design studio and building construction. Our main subject. Sometimes services too.
Okay, that's nice.
Thank you.
Hetal, I asked you one question. Came to tame Hetal Ben?
Arey wow, sir. Nice to see you, sir.
Yeah, good. I was in Gujarat for almost 7.5 years. So I studied at NID Ahmedabad, Paladi. So that's how I know Gujarati.
Okay. Wow. That's great, sir.
Anyways, great. Fantastic.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, then Urvashi from Udaipur, fashion design.
Oops. Okay.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. I'm Urvashi Maheshwari from Udaipur INFD. I'm associate with INFD from 7 years and I'm HOD of fashion department and I'm teaching here garment construction and pattern making and surface ornamentation throughout all years. So thank you, sir.
Okay, just repeating myself. बहुत लोगों का mute नहीं हुआ है. Please mute कर लीजिए. There's too much disturbance. Yeah. So Urvashi, thank you for your introduction. And
yes.
On,
thank you.
We have Anuj.
Ma'am, you're muted. Jasmine, ma'am, you're muted.
Okay. So we have, whom do we have now? We have Anuj from Udaipur. Anuj, are you here? No. Okay. And Ipshita was here. I think I saw her.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Ipshita, please.
Hi, I'm Ipshita from INIFD West Delhi, and I am the HOD for Interiors Department at INIFD West Delhi, and I am with INIFD from past 1 year, and I'm into this teaching line from past 6 years. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay. And the last person that I have on my list is Shifali from Vapi. Shifali Thakkar from Vapi. Is she here? No. Okay.
One second.
So then I think Gurgaon, aap apna,
Hello.
you missed out, so you can just introduce yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kavita Mathur from INFD Gurgaon. I am associated with INFD Gurgaon since 2006. I'm a fashion design faculty, and here I'm taking care of various subjects like textile fundamentals, fabric studies, surface ornamentation, surface embellishment techniques, decorative fabrics and materials, creative embroidery, traditional textiles, Indian art, and I'm glad to be a part of this design workshop. Thank you.
Yeah, most welcome. Okay,
hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Ali from INFD Vapi.
Yeah, please.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Shifali Thakkar from INFD Vapi. I'm since over here in INFD Vapi from last 9 years. And I'm teaching major subjects like textile fundamentals, textile embroideries, decorative fabrics, creative embroidery, retail marketing, visual merchandising, and all. Thank you, everyone.
Most welcome. So I think we're kind of done with my list, but there are a few people who didn't speak up. Himakshi from Rajkot, I can see you here. If you would like to introduce yourself, would you like to do that, please? आप unmute कर लो और अपना थोड़ा video भी on कर लो.
मैम वो बता रही है उनको नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम है, मुझे मैसेज दिया है उसने पर्सनल।
चलो कोई बात
Hi Jasmine ma'am, I'm also here from Chandigarh Center.
Okay, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jigyasa. I'm from INFD Chandigarh Center. I have done my graduation from Pearl Academy, Jaipur, and I teach design process and design concept at Chandigarh Center.
Okay. Chalo, I think we kind of done with the introductions. So Raj, if you would like to take over and introduce yourself and just give an overview of what we're going to do during this workshop, that'd be nice.
Great, fantastic. Well, hi everyone. Okay, and it's such a pleasant, I mean, atmosphere altogether to see you people, and I was like quite surprised that only the ladies they are dominating in the design field. Okay, because I can see maximum ladies out here. Okay, very few people who are like useless kind of people like me who are there, as a male. Otherwise, anyways. So, what I would say, right? I mean, how would I say? See, it's been like almost 18 years that I've been in the introduction of mine. It's been like almost 18 plus years kind of an experience. Okay, almost 20 years, touching 18 to 20 in between. I studied at NID, okay, Ahmedabad. So I graduated in the field of exhibition and the spatial design. So that was my core forte, okay, and in communication design. And then I started my career in Bangalore, okay, in the environmental and graphic design firm, okay, and then in the interior and the furniture firm, okay. So that's which was a Quetzal design, so which is very known kind of a firm. I worked there, and after that, I got into the retail industry as a hardcore retail visual merchandiser. Visual merchandising was my core forte. So I worked there since 2006 till about say 2011, and then I got into an international brand. You must be knowing international brand that is called Benetton, which is United Colors of Benetton. So I worked there for almost like 2014. Then I got into a UK brand which was Mother Care. Okay, it was the kids fashion segment. Okay, to deal with. And then I got into the men's clothing, Blackberries. Okay, Blackberries men's clothing. So I worked there. So that's how my journey has been so far. And now at like presently, I'm running my own show. I'm having my own consultancy firm. Okay, and at the same time, I am into the teaching, and I wouldn't say as a teaching. Teaching is a different. I always say that I'm at the learning stage still. I always say, because my fundamental is more you learn, more you see that you haven't learned anything. That's what it is. That's what my philosophy is. Okay. So I think this is the next. It is a time to go for the next inning. Where I can learn from you people, from my peers, from my colleagues, from my co-faculties and the kids, students. That's why I take it from everywhere. So what I do, instead of teaching, I say that I share. Okay, so I'll always believe in sharing, and exactly the same thing I will be doing. Okay, the sharing. In this sharing, there are a few rules which I would like to narrate out here to all you people. That number one, please, it's my humble request that it is that I'm investing time. Okay, because for last, I think yesterday, okay, since yesterday, I've been making a presentation because I'm concising it for you, because the foundation course, which I did for 1.5 years, I'm just trying to bring it in the nutshell. It means I've done a lot of work, hard work for it. So please take it seriously, number one, okay? Secondly, that learning or grasping can only be done when it is taken seriously with a conducive environment, not just having it on the jhula or having it on the road or having it on the park. No, please don't do this, because then it is an insult. I feel that it is an insult to me and to the other people who are sitting quietly in front of their laptop and or whatever. So please, it's my humble request. Please take it seriously, and how to go about it in terms of the assessment and all that Jasmine will take you through later on, okay, in a much detailed manner. But my request is, please take as much as possible from me. It's my humble request, okay, because I'm investing time and institute is investing money and time both. Okay, and
Yeah,
if you can,
I'd like to button here, Raj. I'm
correct.
sorry, I'm cutting you, but I'm repeating whatever you're saying, that this is
Correct.
going to be a very serious workshop. We don't want you to, think that this is something that you can just spend time on. We are expecting some work out of you. Whatever work is given, we expect you to do that by the time or deadline that we give you, because we have very limited time. It's not like the previous workshop that we did. I'm just clarifying that. That one was we gave you a date and it kept being postponed, and then we gave you a new date. But this time, because we are time bound, we have to finish in a specific amount of time. So we are not going to give you, extension to deadlines and tell you कि कोई बात नहीं, आप कल दे देना, परसों दे देना. ऐसा नहीं है. We will try. We will obviously look into this, that you are all involved in other stuff and you are doing things which require time also. But then you need to ensure that you take this very, very seriously. If we give you some timeline, and if Raj is particular about something that has to be done, it has to be done. Otherwise, your certificates might be withheld. I'm being very, very clear right now. Let's not take it as a fun and games thing. It is not. It's a pretty serious thing that we're doing right now. So please carry on, Raj. Yeah.
Okay, great, fantastic. Thank you, Jasween. Okay, so I will take you through the kind of the way this entire course has been structured. Okay, it is spread over for almost like 3.5 months. Who's this? Who's good-looking woman? Ah, okay. Anyways, so basically this course structure will go for 3.5 months almost. Okay, almost, and we will be having 2 classes in a week, and that will be on Monday and Friday. Correct, and timings will be 4 to 6, so 2 hours. So my focus would be mainly for the engagement, okay, engagement of my co-faculties, which are you. Okay, so idea is more you get empowered, more you get Pratibha, what happened? You are yawning too much. Kya hua? I know my voice is very
I am
modulating
taking
voice.
a regular class since morning.
Okay.
Actually, I'm taking a regular class since morning. So on to a single place, I'm sitting since morning 9:30.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's what. Then you're
Yes.
tired. Okay. I was wondering what happened. My voice is very modulating, so maybe that I'm making you sleep. Okay. Anyways, so basically, it is for almost like 3.5 months. Okay, and that's how the classes will be going on. And idea is that we will be engaging ourselves, as much as possible. So towards the end of the day, okay, we will be having some crash assignments. I myself will be involved with you people. And idea is that we don't have to produce anything best, but if we can get ourselves sensitized towards students, okay, sensitized first for ourselves and then towards the student. Because if we can get a truck of everything, then we will be able to look into the more and more aspects of looking, getting it, extracting it and delivering it to the students. So from that aspect we'll be looking into. Okay, this entire session will go like this, right? Okay, so straight I will just brief you what the course structure I've gone through. What I've done. Okay, share screen, right? Okay, share screen. Can you see my screen now, all of you? Okay, great. So basically, that's how I will just take you through the headings of the first, like first of all. So then there are some subdivision of the courses. The modules which I'm going to take. Okay, and then that's how we'll be taking so on. So idea is it's going to be completely sequential, like everything will be interrelated, So whatever you will learn in the first, it is going to be impacted on the second exercise. So it will be a linear, it will be a sequential kind of an exercise. That's how we'll be going through, right? Idea out here would be not only just doing the exercise, but at the same time thinking beyond those exercises so that we can create for the students, So that's how the sensitivity we need to get into out here. So that's the basic idea, fundamental of this. So like history of design and the environmental perception. So that's the first one today. Like I will be taking the visual language, something a little bit about the semantics and all, and then design perception, maybe a fashion, architecture. Okay, then you go to the design drawing, which we already have been doing. But idea is taking it a little ahead, which means environmental sensitivity. First, we got to be sensitized ourselves, and then we'll be making the students more sensitive towards the environment, because there are a lot of things to be learned from the environment itself. Okay, once you get the basics, right or in place. Then we have nature drawing, cube and coin study. That's very much important, cube and coin study, because I'm telling you, after I've seen there's so many people, they still are not clear about the, cube. And cube is the most basic fundamental unit, of any visualization. I will get onto it a little later. Okay. And then we have got the human figure as a best scale. It's not just, I'm going to talk about the human division. No, I'm just talking about how that scale will be used in the environment, which will be beneficial in the fashion and in the interiors both. Okay. Then analytical drawing, very much essential, in fact. Okay. Then geometrical analysis, object deconstruction, it's the same. Nature is a teacher, that's another one which I'm talking about. Then flower morphology, okay, it actually brings you to the flower morphology, and nature is a teacher. You will be really enjoying these two modules with me, Then freehand perspective drawing, okay, and it's a very brief intro, but how to take it forward in the perspective. And enhanced perspective, that's again one thing which will be very much useful in the especially while you are doing the visual merchandising and you are doing the interior design, so idea is to have that sensitivity with us so that we can grip in and give it to the students further, in terms of looking beyond. Then color and form, okay, we all of us, we have been, you all people know what color and form, okay, so taking it a little ahead of that, so how to create any exercise, how to make it more sensitive, how to sensitize more towards making the, some meaningful exercises. That's what we'll be looking into. Then graphic sensitization, that's very much essential, very much essential. Still, I've seen like people, in fact, other day, Jasween also pointed out the same. Like till today, I've seen people, the kind of fonts, the kind of color background they use, they crop the image, they stretch it top and bottom, and it becomes something else, and especially while you're in the design field. So the students need to be, first of all, before the new student, first of all, we got to be more selective and be sensitive enough, to communicate in a proper manner the way it should be, which appeals, which aesthetically, which looks good. So the kind of font size, the font, everything, that the whole summary of it will be coming into it. Why is it important? The reason, because in both the fields, whether it's an interior or it's a fashion, we ought to have the good presentation or the good portfolio, which will be beneficial for us in the industry. Okay, so that's what we need to give it to the student. Then composition and the typeface, basic typography, very much essential. Okay, at least one cannot be the fontographer in the sports, but at the same time, at least if we get a basic sensitivity towards the typography, I think we are done. We picked up. We have won the half the battle. It's like this. Now, then we have the elements of space. Okay, very much essential, this exercise, considering earlier it wasn't when I started. Later on when I spoke with Jasween and Anju ma'am, okay, so then we we synthesized this program, and we said whatever the modules we are making, somewhere either actively or passively, they should be correlated with our courses, these two main courses, which is fashion and interiors. So that's why the elements of space is very much important. Okay, people who are from the architecture background, they will be able to easily comprehend what exactly it is, and how it will be going, this entire exercise. Then I talk about the word of material, okay, because that's also very much important. That our students, okay, they get somewhere. They make things, but they do not know what material to be used. So they need to have that sensitivity also, so that hand-to-hand things go together. The conceptualization and the execution part of it, which is a sub-product, which is a byproduct of the same, visualization. So that's the kind of sensitivity we need to have. Once you go into the industry, then everything becomes reverse in the order, which means the first of all, without the conceptualization, you give the costing first, okay, then you think about the material, and then you think about the concept. That's how it happens in the industry. Okay, people who are the architects, they know very well what I'm trying to say. Okay. Then last, but the most powerful and the most impactful is design methodology or the design process. Okay. Here, what I will be more looking into, not only just talking about those, the process of the design, but I will be taking it little beyond, that what we should be looking into post design process. That's what the main agenda. Okay, so which means what are the TCPs, what are the SPDs, and what is the way forward, what is the display and control systems. So these things we need to, if we can get sensitized towards it, so we will be able to do the justification while we are teaching to the students about what design process is. Okay, so, and while I designed this entire module, so one thing I kept in my mind that I'm not going to teach you the ABCD, okay, because you people are mature enough, because you yourself have been teaching and you also taught in your college and the student life. So you are already at least 4-5 steps above. So now you need to exhale yourself, you need to accelerate yourself above. Okay, so basis on this foundation, I'm taking it a little more ahead as a foundation. The most important part, why foundation? Okay, because other day we were having discussion, Jasveen, myself, and Anju as well. So then we realized, we came on to the same conclusion collectively, unanimously. We thought that if we can have a foundation course, okay, then it will be much better, because for any good designer, if foundation is good, then only you can build a good castle onto your good foundation. So imagine how much, because it's a Bauhaus, that's what I'm talking about. You talk about the other institutes which are, maybe, I mean, you go to any of the design institute, any of the design institute, which are like good one. Okay, good means who have got a good reputation for last 50, 60 years, or they have got a legacy of it. So they could sustain the reason because of their foundation, because their foundation is so spick and span and very structurized. And based on that, then the students, they just take a different leap altogether as per their own, capabilities, as per their, inhibitions, and as per their own, the interest. Then they take it to different, like whatever they want to. So that's why it is so important for us. Okay. So that's also this entire the course. Okay, this program is for, as I said, for 3.5 months, almost like 3 months, 1 week or 2 weeks, something like that. Okay, so today's session will be of a visual language, or I would say it is more of a somewhat like a history of design kind. It is somewhere in between, but I don't want to make it boring, okay, because history of design, it sounds itself very boring, okay, koi do raha nahi hai, okay. I will try to make it as little boring as possible, okay, for you people. So that's how, let me put it like this. So that's what I worked on, okay, whatever brief I could, whatever, briefly I could put it together. I'm just trying to present it to you people. Okay, so what you have people need to do, just a minute. So what you got to do, if you have got any question, okay, so we can take it towards the end, okay, just keep on jotting it down on the paper, so that last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or half an hour, whichever. I believe in your case, it will be almost like a half an hour kind, okay. So if you have got any question, just put it down and we'll take it forward, okay. And believe me, I'm also learning with you people. So there is nothing that whatever I'm saying is patthar ki lakeer hai, aisa nahi hai. You can always challenge me, and please do challenge me, because that's what I need. I need from you. You are not challenging me, means you are not listening to me. I will say like this, okay. Have a lot of questions. More questions you ask me, it will be the best. It should be interactive. It should be dialogue. It should not be a monologue. Okay. So that's what my humble request from all you people is. Okay. So shall we start now? Great, fantastic.
I think we should. Achha, okay, before we do that, The names that I had announced today, those are the ones which are officially with me.
Okay.
Those. So I want all of you to give me your email IDs and phone numbers. Those who are officially registered, please send in your email ID and your phone number so that we can create some sort of a group where we can communicate. And please, for that group, if it's a WhatsApp group, it is only for this particular workshop. Please, let's not discuss or put in stuff which is not related to this workshop. No good mornings, no good nights, no nothing. No happy birthdays also. Okay? Only for work related to this particular workshop. That's all. Okay? So just send in your email IDs and your phone number. So do it via, I think it will be better if you send it via a mail, because अभी हम यहाँ से उठा देंगे तो सब mix up हो जाएगा. So आप एक एक सेंटर के जो दो लोग हैं या एक भी है, अपने के वहाँ से मेल भेज दीजिए with your name, your email ID and your number. And your email ID has to be a Gmail account, because we want you to share your assignments via Drive. आप हमें please mail मत करना, PPT वगैरह, don't do that. Put whatever work you do, put it in your Drive and share a link from that Drive with us. Otherwise हमारे पास इतनी space नहीं बचती कि हम आपका सब सामान रख सकें. I hope I'm clear to everyone.
मैम INFD academics पे भेजना है ना?
हाँ जी, INFD academics पे मेल कर दीजिए अपना, और Gmail का अकाउंट रहेगा तो बेटर है, because we want you to share your assignments via the Drive, not mail the actual file to us. Got it? Okay. Okay, Raj.
Shall I continue now? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen now?
We can see the old one. We changed it because we can see the Excel file. No, we can't see that one.
Achha, okay.
We need to stop sharing and share it again once
okay,
we do that.
Got it. Yes, stop share.
Yeah, now it's visible.
Visible now? Okay. Okay, great.
If you could just make it full screen, that would be very nice. Yeah, absolutely.
Taken it. Okay. So can you see all you people? Great, fantastic. So basically, history of design, as the name itself says, so where did it start from? There are a lot of questions, okay, and there are a lot of debates. Some people, they say it started around, say, 4,005 years back. Some people, they say, no, it had started 8,000 years back, There are a lot of things. I mean, there are a lot of theories behind it. And no one is right, no one is wrong. I would keep it like this. Just let it be open. Because how much can you debate? You were not there. And how much can you, because today you excavate something, and tomorrow you will get in excavation something else. Then what? Then who was right? So let's keep it like this only, very open-ended. But I would say the very first design, okay, the very first design was, or the designer was the prehistoric man, okay, or the early man. When I'm saying this, why? The reason, because he was imagine the person, like he knew very well that he has to pick up a stone and he has to throw it at a prey so that the prey can get killed, and in the evening his family can eat food. So it means what he did, he picked up a stone, okay, took his arm at the back here. So what is he doing? He is actually converting that potential energy here completely. He's restoring his potential energy here and then throwing it at his prey so that he's releasing this as a kinetic energy and making it as an impulse, right? So imagine this only could be thought by some brain. Okay, and the brain was whose? That was of prehistoric man, or that was of early man, I would say rather. Okay, so that early man, caveman, he was the one who had done that. Clear? Now, at the same time, this he had like three things in him. This early man. One was he had one natural intelligence. Who's someone's audio is not muted. It's like some voice is coming. Okay. So basically, it is like a. It's a long, like if I talk about like 3.5 million years back and talk about that, it's a huge, like long time back. So I would say that was the first design manager, design person. Why design manager? Because imagine there was a lady who was at home and she knew that one prey has been killed today. Okay, tomorrow she might not be getting the same prey again. Okay, XYZ reasons. So she will be doing all the, she'll make sure that she's arranging the household in such a way that tomorrow morning or till tomorrow evening, that food should be sufficiently given to all the kids. And the person, caveman, and this early man, he was with his intelligence. He was calculating the time, that what time the prey is coming next to the water body, so that he can wait for him, he can kill him. So that all the calculation, because 1 second, millisecond of either early or the late or delay, he will miss the prey. So it means there was some kind of calculation in the back of his mind, right? So that made him different from the rest of the animals. And that's where the evolution had happened. So the design also got evolved in the similar manner. So it's a very gradual process which had happened. So design is an evolution. It's a constantly evolving, it's a constantly getting evolved kind of a process all the time. Again and again, you will be seeing it, because there's nothing called best in this world. It's an evolution. It's a reforming process. There is nothing called best. Had there been a best, it means there's a full stop. There is no scope of further improvement into it, right? Correct. So that's what it is. Now, if you see this, the neurosensitivity of cavemen or the early men, how it was, I told you. Now he used to, carve some tools also at the same time. Why? Because later on he became so intelligent, okay, that he started, carving those tools as well, okay. So which means if he chips off this much a portion of the stone, so this will be much more sharper, and it will be easier for him to kill the prey as quickly as possible. Okay, so this kind of calculation he started doing. Then there's another kind of intelligence. So basically, early men had three kind of an intelligence. One was the natural intelligence, then the social intelligence, and third is the technical intelligence. Okay, so the social intelligence means after doing all this, like killing the prey, he had his own life. He was single, alone. Then he got involved with the family. He met with his soulmate or the family, and then gradually they understood that alone it's very difficult to survive. So why not let's make a family, or let's make a society, okay, so that we can we can be we can build up a kind of a system, an ecosystem with which all the ladies, they will be taking care of kids of each other, and we all men will go in the jungle and we'll be taking care, we will be hunting. And now, starting from a small prey, now they started hunting with a big prey, so that entire community can eat together. So that's how they started developing these kind of systems. Ecosystems came into the play now. So that's how the design again started emerging in a different form altogether as a system. Now, what happened? The technical, social, and the cultural, all these things, when they put together, so that became a kind of an encyclopedia for them, So they knew, okay, this is the system, that's how we need to go ahead. This is the system, we need to go ahead. So even the children, they were learning the same systems, okay? And gradually, this early man became much more intelligent, okay? And that's how the technical intelligence got more predominant on him. Now, at this point of time, early men started doing the, एक आग की खोज करना उसने स्टार्ट कर दिया था. Fire discovery had happened. Then later on got into the wheel discovery at the same time. Then he started doing the sharpening the tool. Can you see on the right hand side, if you see the third one, okay, this particular. So he started chipping off the stone in such a manner that he had defined the tool for a specific prey. Are you getting my point? So this is that's how that's how he was also sharpening his skills, tools, and the brain. And more brain was getting sharpened. Okay, that this mankind was also getting getting more sharper, more smarter. Today, why do we say? मैं अपनी बात करता हूँ या हम अपनी बातें करेंगे. What were we doing at when we were 6 or 8 year old? What were we doing? We were playing with Kuta Gudia and all those kind of stuff, right? But when we see today's generation, they are having their remote mobile phones and all those things, and they are so equipped with that you do not know so many functions that they know, right? And for our parents, we were much more smarter. So what happens every time there's a generation which becomes much more sharper in terms of grasping things and the technicalities. So yes, there are some pros and cons also, because earlier people, they were much more they were more of how do I say, they were very patient. Today's generation, and we are not so patient. So there is always something is becoming, it's like a balance is happening. Something is getting increasing out here, something is getting lesser at one point of side. So anyway, that's another anthropological aspect to look into. But that's how the early man was. So technical intelligence started predominating, okay, on him, where his brain started functioning, okay, not only just the right brain but the left brain as well, okay, because right brain, which happens to be for the creative part, and the left brain is for the more logical part, so that's how it is. Okay, and now putting all these three things together, okay, when we got into the early man life, so what he has become, he started becoming more towards एक सभ्य समाज में जाने वाला, इससे बोलते हैं ना, एक उस तरीके का इंसान बनने लगा वो. Earlier he was more of an animal. Now he started getting out of his animal kingdom. He started getting into the men's species, towards the men's species. So that's what it was. Now I will take you through one small presentation. Okay, it is a video, small video. Let's see what we can get out of it. We will have a small debate later on. Let's see what we get out of it. Okay.
Sir, do we have a audio to this present video as well?
Yeah, there is an audio which I can hear. Is anyone else who
Nobody
cannot hear?
else, we can't hear it.
No, we can't.
Can't hear the audio.
No, we can't
Surprised.
hear
We
it.
can't hear
No.
No one is hearing the video. Oh,
None
sorry,
of
audio.
Nobody can hear it.
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
How do I do that? Because okay. So as I said, I wish that we could see the entire, this presentation. I mean, this video, which was plugged in, and I downloaded it also for you people. But anyways, nevertheless, let's go to the next one, which is like design is an evolutionary process. Okay, so what exactly mean by it when I say it's an evolutionary process? Because as I told you, early man, how it has started its journey, and now where it has come to. So in between, what, as I said, that gradually the early men, okay, or the cavemen, started getting sophisticated, okay, started understanding the languages, uh, some kind of, some kind of, environment, okay, or some kind of relations, some kind of society, okay, all these things, so which are very much essential as a, as an ecosystem to be in, So later on, what he did, then there was some kind of, they said, like early men said, like, whatever am I doing, okay, what will happen tomorrow if I die? So this legacy must be passed on to the next generation. So then he started doing the incubation at the same time, curating at the same time. Curation was the one which struck to him. And because of his natural instinct and the ability, he started scribbling something, okay? And then that transformed into some kind of a language, so-called the visual language. Now, what it is, we'll get into it a little later, but the interesting part is like this archaeologists had found that there's some engraved, or some motifs which were there on the wall. They were exactly the replica of the kind of boats which we are using nowadays. Okay, so it means they had thought, they had conceived of that long time back. It is somewhere little towards the medieval period or little earlier than that time. Now, technical intelligence, which I was talking about, in the emotional has been done, your practical has been done. Now, what is the technical intelligence? It was keep on evolving, keep on getting sharpened and sharpened. So as I showed you in the slide earlier, so the stone which he used to throw at the prey, it was getting, now I started doing the weighing, how much does it weigh, what kind of sharpness, what kind of fulcrum it should be having so that it kills the prey. Okay, so that's the kind of technicalities which he got into. And then see, from there it has been taken to the our next generation, our next legacy, where Michelangelo, if you see on the right hand side, Michelangelo, what he said, okay, he says that when I see the marble, so I do not see, I already have seen the statue in the marble. What I need to do, I need to just chip away the extra portion of it. So what I'm trying to establish out here, that the early men had thought something, first of all, convinced himself, convinced himself, and then passed it on to the next generation. So next generation is the Michelangelo, if I say so, okay, or anyone. So that's how the Michelangelo's statement is, that he sees in the marble a statue as, okay, and then he chips off the extra portion, scrapes it off. That's it. Now, as I told you, that design is an evolutionary process, okay, which means it keeps on changing, it keeps on getting modified. So there is nothing called best, as per the requirement, as per the need, okay. So the basic DNA gets transformed. Like the best example happens to be design of a juice, this juicer. So if you see the old one must have been something like this, or maybe something, or the early men, he must have used some kind of stone to crush the fruits or something like that later on. And then something which is like a wooden kind of a juicer which came into the play. And then it got changed when it had to be a little more modified, much more aesthetically defined. So this stainless steel wala had come, okay, which strains both the things, which is seeds are separate and the juice is separate in the bottom. So that's how. So what was that? It was a kind of a need. So again, the design which had taken. Then furthermore, then it had taken to when you need to have little more and the less effort to be done, because right now still you're trying to crush it with your hand. So if we can have some kind of a handle, okay, where we can just press it down and easily we can get our juice into this. So again, the juicer got, transformed into this kind of a shape. Then later on, much more effortless, which was an electrical one. Okay, the electrical juicer came in. So just put the juices, the fruits inside and the juice comes out. Then it was taken to the more larger scale when it had to be given to the society, to the mass, and making it as a business proposition. So then the industrial juicer came into the play, okay, and which was like serving to a lot of people, okay, and at one point of time you can have some gallons of juice. So what is it happening? So imagine from here it has come up to this level. The basic DNA remains the same, which is so-called the extraction of the juice, but the modification has happened over the period in terms of the material, in terms of the technology, in terms of the need, in terms of the society. So that's how it is called the design as an evolutionary process. Okay, now any questions so far? Anyone who has got any question or anyone wants to speak anything? Okay, now it is not just only the design as in design engineering or the design aesthetic. There's sometimes it's a little more than that, which means like what if it needs to be made a little quirky, if it is to be made a little joyful. So this is the kind of thing which has come into the play. So getting back to the roots, okay, having the same roots but making it more joyful for the kids, for the student, for the kids, and for the who want to have some playfulness in their house, like all that. But at the same time, the very like 180-degree kind of a approach, which is like make it much more industrial, much more technical, much more aesthetic, much more futuristic kind of a thing, okay? Or something that looks very industrial, which becomes a talk of the town, which becomes something to start off as a dialogue. So this is the kind of juicer which came into the play, okay? And this happens to be one of the 100 best designs of the century. So this is enlisted in the same. It's a very beautiful product. Okay, so if it to me, I don't know whether designer had thought of it or not, but to me it looks like a one spider. It gives me a spider kind of a the first glance. So you just crush it on top of it, and then it just and in the bottom that cone shape, so that everything gets concentrated at one point and then falls down. So very well thought of, very well thought of. This design. Again, I've got a video out here.
If I'm not mistaken.
What? Just a minute. Tell me, you were saying something.
The design, the last one. You can't hear me?
Now tell me.
I'm just
I can
talking
hear
to the designer who designed the last juicer. Yeah.
Barely
That's
can hear
Philip
you.
Stark. He's a French designer.
Correct, Philip Stark. Absolutely correct.
Achha.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah,
Hello,
I just wanted to mention the designer. Yeah, just carry on.
Yes. Okay. Again, there was a nice video which could summarize this design evolution wala. Okay, but somehow there is no video, so I would like to skip it right now. But I would say that you can still.
The links,
I will share the link with you people. Jasmine, your voice is breaking very badly. What happened to your network? Hello.
Maybe there's, I don't know. Yeah. You can't
okay,
hear it. None of you can hear me?
Now I can. Now I can hear you, and I guess
there
people also.
Something network. I don't know.
Okay. Yes. So any which way, so if you guys can just avoid the audio, and just I can quickly run you through, at least you get a gist of it, what exactly this video is all about, so we can little talk about it also.
Yeah, you can speak over the video if you just run it and
Correct.
just explain what is happening. That should be good enough.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically what happens, this caveman, what he was doing, he started curating all his memories, whatever, because whatever, if you see the early man, what mostly he has done, he has actually painted mostly the animals, either whom he had encountered or he had killed them or hunted them. Even the human figures also he did, or he drew on the walls. Now, why? Question happens, why? The reason, because what happens, design is a kind of thing, nothing comes by its own. You need to have some reference points. Okay, with that reference point only you can deliver it, or you can put it down onto the paper. Like I will give you a very small and a very good example. If a person who's born in China, okay, and if you ask him to draw a person and he has never seen any person who's from the a black man in his life, if he's asked to draw one, he would not be able to do that. Like if I ask you to draw a human figure, a human, I mean not a human, a lady's face, okay? So what we will be doing, all of us, including me, all of us will be making a round face. Mostly we will be having a round face, big eyes, because that's how we have seen in our family. That's how we have seen ladies as. We have seen our god and goddesses in a similar manner, like big eyes, good looking, round face, and little chubby. However, if we talk about someone who's in the Italy, okay, all the ladies, they will be like, if they are asked to draw, they will be making the chiseled face, which is the cheekbones are high up. Okay. So what happens? This is all through the environment and the society. So you collect it and then put it together. You register it in your brain and then put it together in form of drawing, sketch, or the articulation can be different. Maybe the clay, pottery, whatever it is. That's how you get into. So that's how it was so far. Let me just take it further. Okay. So basically what happened, there was a medium which early man was looking for. So that time there was no ink. So what he did, he had two things, which was like either it was red rock, okay, or a black one, black soil. So he used both of them. He put the rock, the red rock, crushed it, or maybe the direct like a chalk, he used it. And then what he was doing, a little more sharpened, to accentuate what he did, either he started carving the stone inside the cave, or whatever the natural contour of the cave was. Like if you see out here, like these are like trough and crests which are there on the wall. So he used this natural this formation and started making it as an depicting some kind of animal or whatever he has thought of. So it was a kind of an accentuation which he was doing. So this is that's how he was becoming more and more sensitive towards drawing and putting it together onto the medium. Okay. Yeah. Yes. So basically what happened, if you see just now, there was one hand which had come, it was drawn. So on the wall. So these kind of symbols were also getting formed and they were being found by the archaeologists, okay, after having one, in the caves. So then it was a kind of debate why they could be. And there were some kind of symbols and they were trying to communicate something. And I'm sure there must be, because that's what the debate was. Because someone cannot make it abruptly. It has to have some kind of purpose, some reason behind it, why someone is putting something on the paper or in form of drawing or any of the surface. Then they realized it can be the visual communication, and this could be the first graphic design, okay, where a semantic. Now, but that visual language needed to be coded, that need to be decoded in order, because it was already coded by the early men. So it needed to be decoded. So what? So there's something called the semantics. It was nomenclatured as semantics. Now, what is semantics? That's more important to understand. Semantic is basically a purpose to the meaning of the word and the phrases, and to remove the confusion which might lead to the readers. Okay, and there might be a possibility that it can up now. Now, what happens? Semantic is a kind of thing which is it is like a lot of debates happen. Okay, people, they try to establish some kind of relevance. Okay, and then they come on to the conclusion that this particular symbol might be determining this, either the incident or the instance or the animal or the figure, whatever XYZ. But that's what the meaning of this particular symbol or the visual language is. So it is a kind of first decoding and then coding it again. That's what it is. Semantics are. Okay. The rule of semantics happens to be that it needs to be agreed upon, okay, by the people, by the society, by the scholars, everyone, and then they imbibe it in a form of encyclopedia or in form of whatever, in form of an archive or a resource center, whatever it is. The problem happens when two people give two different directions, or three people give three different meaning of the same, and we blindly follow them, you know. So that's where the problem happens. So better to have one, and that can only happens when there is a lot of debate, a lot of talks. Sometimes people actually they have decoded. Some people they are still trying to decode it, okay, and again trying to code it. But it's still a mystery. Still still no one could actually completely decode it. Still, it is a mystery, and people are still trying to have a debate and writing papers. Research is still going on in the world across. Okay, so that's how you see how it has been made earlier, then later on, then how further it is. Then there might be some lines. What these lines could be? Are they trying to give some dates to it? Are they trying to have some months to it? Are they trying to have some kind of I don't, maybe the kids or whatever, I don't know. Okay, so these are the kind of language which they were coming or putting it together. So these languages, these coded languages, were called the semantics. Okay. Now these languages were getting passed on to the next generation, and today what you see, okay, like I give you an example. Like, we had a telegraph, right? Telegraph was one. Telegraph में क्या था? Like we had some kind of code, like a braille. जैसे braille का है, it is the same like we had some kind of coding. So you cut ऐसे होता है and goes to some other person, and that's a universal language. Okay, that language is understood by the other person as well, and he reads it. So where it has come from, braille. Okay, you call it as a braille. Braille, you call it as a this telegraphic language. It has come from the early man itself, because he had actually done some kind of a language. Okay, in those eras, in those times, which they could communicate with. Later on, it got transformed. That every society had taken a different kind of dialects, kind of a what is it called, the language, the visual language. Okay, so it started changing. That's why you see Chinese is a different language from us. India has different Sanskrit, the purest and the original form of language. Okay, which is the very first one. From there, all the languages got evolved. That's what we say. So according to the nowadays a new language which has emerged, a WhatsApp language. You never know. Tomorrow it becomes a very official language for some people. So that's how the generation it gets passed on to. It gets a legacy which is there. So now if I talk about the medieval to modern, which is a passing on to the legacy, I will just give you an example. There are a few things which I would like to, if you know, like sometime back around say 15 years back or so, not 15, around, 14 years back, I had a chance to work with Delhi University on a project. Okay, and with Intac also. Okay. So it was basically Delhi Nama. Delhi Nama is what? Delhi Nama is basically Delhi in last 100 years, how it has been changed. Okay. So it was very fascinating while I was going through the archives, where I was doing the research and the paper and all. I was going through this, doing all this kind of research thing for the exhibition to put it together. Okay. So there was something like these in Delhi. Delhi actually is surrounded by some 106 pillars. Okay, so it is surrounded with a periphery, and the Delhi used to be only till Delhi Gate. So that Lal Killa and Daryaganj, Chandni Chowk, this is the actual Delhi, which we call it as a old Delhi, right? And the oldest one is that Yamuna ka pul jo uske upar aata hai, that oldest one, that is the first one, right? So, and now over the period, like the first satellite shot which has been taken, and the second and third over the period, the satellite shots. So you can see the transformation of Yamuna from one place to another one, how it has been changed. So that is also one of the anthropology to look into, how it is, the scenario is changing, the topography is also changing of Delhi, and how this Daryaganj, that main road, how it has been changed over the period. Now, the best part was, then I got to understand the history of Delhi, which means in Delhi we had, like we are having places like Jia Sarai, Sheikh Sarai, Yusuf Sarai. Okay, if you've heard of all these names. Okay, see, what are these places? These places are basically, first of all, name itself, it will indicate you what is the meaning of it. Sarai. Okay, why Sarai? See, Delhi used to be finished. Delhi, the last end of the Delhi was Delhi Gate, Turkman Gate, okay, then Kashmiri Gate, Delhi Gate. All these were used to be gate, It was for the exit and entry. And it was, as I told you, it's surrounded with the Bawalis and 106 pillars. So there are still few remains of those pillars are there, very few, hardly 3-4 of them now, okay. But that was the Delhi. So people, traders, they will come from other cities, they will get inside the Delhi for the trading. There used to be a barter system earlier. कि आप मुझे चावल देंगे, मैं आपको तेल दूंगा, या मैं आपको cotton दूंगा types. ठीक है? So they will get inside the gate, and there they will be showing their ID card, okay, and they will be given a visa to get inside, and they will be doing the trade for 3 days, 4 days, whatever the time period, okay, they want, and they have to pay accordingly, and then they will do their trades, and then they will come back. So while one trader is inside, okay, so what happens to the other traders? They will be outskirts of Delhi, okay, which is like Sheikh Sarai, Jia Sarai, all these Sarai. They will be there, and they will be with their ऊंट, घोड़ा, हाथी, वो सब लेके आए होंगे, ठीक है, बकरी वकरी सब लेके आए होंगे, and they will be standing there. एक पूरा एक शिविर लगता है, it's like a one camp which goes there, right? And that's how these sarais were evolved later. They were made as a sarais. And later on they became like up to urbanization ho gaya sab jagah pe, but that's how it is, correct? So now the Delhi is not what you see. Delhi is completely different now. Okay, so the actual Delhi is that old Delhi. So now why I told you this, because I want to establish some connect out here. If you go on to this one, so it is the same thing which had happened in the medieval period, which is like Harappa and this Mohenjo-daro, those areas, which is like medieval one. There, these kind of these were like visas, if I talk about it, and this off-centered hole, center hole, thoda is side ka hole, it has got some kind of a unicorn sort of a this shape. It determines what is the period for which you are going to do the trade, okay, in the different city, okay, how long you will be staying there. So all these will be denoting out here with these. So these are the visa, mere paas ye wala visa hai, right? And then you had all these seals. These seals will talk about either it's a barter system ki aap mere se ye seal le lo, ye meri sone ki seal hai, ye meri chandi ki seal hai, ye mera coin hai, whatever, or maybe kashapan ise bolte hain in Hindi, it's called kashapan, okay, ye mera bronze ka bana hua hai, right? So you can have a barter system with that. So each of this coin will have this much of weightage in terms of the value of it. So you just give it to me. It's a barter system, or it is to show that I've come from which city, any which way. So these are the trades. This will actually become the tool of doing the trades, and where it has got to, and it is basically not the trades, but I would say rather for the traveling, from one place to another place. Now, where it has been transformed, to this modernized traveling, where we again have the visa, we have got a passport, which is our identification. Okay, so it has been taken from where? It has been taken from our ancestors, from our legacy. So what is it happening? It's a visual language which is getting transformed, or not transformed, and basic DNA has been passed on from one generation to the other one, and so on. It will be keep on continuing. Okay, in a different forms. Again, back to the roots. In Gujarat, you get to see that in Gujarat there are a lot of these kind of motifs which are used, and these are the same motifs which have been found in the excavation by the archaeologists, which is during the Indus Valley civilization. Now, where is the Indus Valley civilization? It happens to be in the same region, okay, where it is in the Pakistan, India. It is somewhere in between, So हमारी जो सिंधु सभ्यता है बहुत पुरानी है, ठीक है, बहुत पुरानी सभ्यता है, इंडस civilization जो है. तो ये जो सारे के सारे जो motifs निकले हैं, all these motifs are what? These are back to the roots. We are doing the same. Islamic architecture, what is it? It's a very long way to go, but we use still in our design. We are not doing anything new. We are just either recreating them, or what we are modifying them. That's what we have been doing. So imagine our ancestors, how big brains they had, how big they were in terms of their design thinking. They never knew how to process it properly in terms of the jargons and the words, but they had the sensibility. You go to people who are from Jaipur, people who are from Rajasthan, Mount Abu, Dilwara temples. I mean, go there, and what kind of the Dilwara temples, the kind of workmanship has been done. I mean, phenomenal. I'm surprised to see how it has been done. Marble का एक पूरा piece लिया हुआ. It's a huge. One petal has been made, which is a just thin of 5 mm thin petal, cut out of one marble piece. If it gets chipped off, you can't. What will you do? You don't have to stick another piece of it. No, you have to take another rock, another marble, and cut it again. Laser sharp. What tools used at that point of time? I'm surprised that it is so finished. It is so good. So there must be some technology long time back. Like those pyramids, long time back, how they have been made. Laser sharp cut, unbelievable. So there must be a technology. So what we have done, it has been passed on to the next generation. Now what we are doing, we are having the laser cut, water cut, whatever. There's so many cuts which we are doing. Okay. So technology has been improved, but the sensibility still remains the same, which has been passed on. Correct? This is a one video. I thought I would just like. Oi. Who was that great man? This video talks about this, this caves which were found, okay, and how the cavemen had put some, the language onto the walls, the linguistics kind of things which he had, and he passed it on to the next generation. But before that, so people, they started getting in the caves, okay, and over the, because there was an intrusion of the man, and wherever there is an intrusion of a humankind and the mankind, so that area is bound to get, changed or the transformed. I would not say it gets deteriorated, but it gets changed. So in order to intact in a similar fashion, what archaeologists and the scientists and the designers, they came up with an idea: let's replicate the same, okay, let's preserve it, preserve the caves, okay, the way it was done by our early men, with our ancestors, okay, predecessors. So let's do it. So they came up with this idea of curating it, and that's how they had done it. Yeah. See this. It it was getting damaged. That's how they thought of curating it. So let the cave be where it is, and replicate the same cave at other place, so that people, they get to get the gist of the cave, but without entering into the caves and damaging the cave. Because archaeologists had seen that there was a fungals, okay, there was some algae, there are a number of things which were getting deteriorated because of the human intervention over there, as I told you. So it's the same. You get to see how it has been made. That's a process, and it is good to have. So imagine an interior design is also taking place over there. What caveman was doing. Subconsciously, he was getting into the interior design as well, right? Apart from the graphics. So see, what you saw the caves just now, okay, you'll be seeing it more extensively now. So the basic wireframe has been made, okay, and on top of it, everything has been wrapped around. Get to see, it's a fantastic how it has been created by the architects, designers, engineers, everyone. And it took almost like 8 to 10 years for them to start conceptualizing, putting it together, and then opening it for the public. Almost like 8 to 10 years. Imagine the kind of intrinsic detail they had got into. Each and everything, making sure as authentic as possible should be laid down on the wall and every place on the stone, so that there should not be any, it should be absolutely seamless. 3D scanning had been done. Can you imagine? They scanned 6,000 times each and every point, so that they could create the same. See, look at this. Look at this. Great. Okay. So basically, out here is to preserve our history, number one. And the second thing, still make people aware what our history was without damaging it. Okay, because more the intervention will be, more there are chances. Now I will tell you, I had gone to Aurangabad. Okay, this Ajanta Ellora caves. So not the Ajanta one, the Ellora caves. Okay, no, sorry, Ajanta caves, not the Ellora. The one which is 110 kilometers away from Aurangabad. Okay, so there are some 30 caves which are there, and believe me, like one of the most fascinating thing I've ever seen in my life. I was so fortunate to see that. Okay, 30 caves are there, and restoration work was going on in 6 caves. 24 caves were open, and I saw these kind of paintings which were already there, fantastically done, amazing work, the kind of statues which have been made, and it could give a great sense of aesthetic to me of that time. It could give the kind of sensibility they had to put the proportion, body, eyes, everything together, amazing, just an amazing. And what was happening, this restoration right now, I mean, that time it was going on in the 6 caves, and later I heard that soon these kind of all the places, which is like Ajanta, Ellora, Khajuraho, down south also Meenakshi temple, wherever. So there are few legacies which we have. They all will be replicated later on because government or archaeologists cannot afford to get them damaged. And that's how it is. I don't know how long it will take to implement, but that's what the talk is going on. And sooner it gets, that's much better. So, I mean, I pray that it happens as quickly as possible, because this original should never be damaged. If we lose it, then we lose it. Then we can't ever get back. Okay, no matter how much we try to replicate, I mean, we try to repair it. No, it will be just a repair. So that's what it is going on. Now, what is the history? Okay, so history is actually the dialogue between the past and the present. Okay, as the entire session is going on, it's a dialogue. And for what? It actually gives the opportunity for us. It gives the opportunity for us to initiate the dialogue for the future design, right? And I can give you numerous examples of the same. Numerous examples. Like if I talk about, I mean, the communication, how it had to be done at one point of time. So if there was a person who's, in some kind of like, there's a community which is in some other part, and it has been invaded by the people. Okay, some people, and what do they do? So they will quickly light up the fire, and smoke will go up So the smoke will go up, will have a different meaning. Okay, sometimes what do they will put a some kind of piece of cloth on top of it. They will release it, so one smoke will go like this, like a blob kind of a thing. Then again, second blob will come. So they had already like codified them. If I get to see 3 blobs, so it means I'm having big attack. If I'm having only 1 blob, so it means there are some people, maybe the animal which is attacking us, nothing more. Okay, something like that. So they codified them, and then that's how they will get the rescue operations team. They will be coming to help them out. So what was that? And it could be seen from a distance, from a miles of miles distance could be seen. So what exactly it was? It was a communication, right? The pigeon. Pigeon is another one, which is again a communication. Why pigeon? The reason, because pigeon can fly for a very, very, very long time. Okay. So, and it has got a very sharp brain, which means it tracks the way we are having a dog, which has got a very good, sensitivity towards navigation in the direction. Similarly, the pigeon has got the same in all the birds family. So that's why they were used for the communication earlier. So what is happening nowadays? Again, these were the mode of communication earlier time. Okay, so now it got modified. It got into what? It got into the telegraph. It got into the pager. It got into the mobile. It got into the internet. Now it is getting passed on later on. Who thought of mobile? Say in 91, 92. No one thought of mobile. Yes, but people thought of what? People could see the pager that time. Correct? If you can remember, pager was there. And I remember when 96, 97, when the Motorola, that whatever it is, that brick had come, you could actually kill someone with that phone. Okay, so that time the incoming and the outgoing calls were so expensive कि वो एक miss call देते थे और बोलते थे रख उठाया क्यों phone यार, I'm calling you from the landline. It is just to tell you कि तू उसको उठा मत, I'm going to call you up. So that kind of a thing. Then the technology evolved, and the technology got much more cheaper, and more and more R&D had started happening in the same sector, and the communication became much more profound. And nowadays, what? Nowadays, उस time का जो phone था, which was like that huge brick kind of a thing. Then later on, it became the flap wala आ गया, फिर कुछ something which all had come ऐसे ऊपर नीचे, something which it used to happen. And then CDMA का वो एक गंदा सा phone आया था 500 rupees वाला, which I also bought. So I mean, it was a great fun. I mean, looking into the technology, how it was getting evolved, it was getting transformed, and now who's there? Yeah, and now over the period, then those. Can someone please mute your okay? And then there was this another one which had come, the press button wala Nokia ka, and Nokia was a leader in the market at one point of time. So it's only the Nokia, no one else. Okay, in that point of time. But what the problem with Nokia was that Nokia did not connect themselves with the masses and the requirement of the masses at that point of time. So with their what do you call? जैसे कहते हैं ना घमंड होना अपने आप को, monopoly. So Nokia got into the monopoly and got crashed completely, and did not change as per the user's understanding, what users' demand is or the need is. Whereas at the same time, the smartphone, they emerged and they captured the entire market. And at one point of time, where Nokia in say 2007, 2006, 5, when it was a leader, it was on the topmost in the chart. Now it is completely wiped off from the industry. There's no more Nokia. You don't get to see Nokia at all. Okay. Same goes with the Blackberries as well. Blackberries phone, which had come as a status symbol in 2008, 9. Okay, and now it has been evaporated from the market completely. Now it has been taken over by Mac. Okay, Apple. So what happens? So it is as I said that we learn from the history. So these are the communication devices which got changed, and now see what is happening in today's time. Today's time, communication devices are becoming much more sleeker, smarter, more feature, more enabler. Okay, for you to have a fastest communication. At one point of time, हमारा मतलब computer में जो था, if you remember, you will click But मुझे याद है, I used to in my college, I would click on the button and फिर नीचे जाके चाय पी के आते थे, चलो चाय पी के, तो ऐसे घूम रहे हो, ऐसे ऐसे कुछ घूम रहे हैं ऐसे, तब तक, and I mean crazy. And now today, what today your phone is faster than your computer, like that kind of technology which has been evolved. So that's what it is happening. Okay, so the past and the present. So my idea is like taking the DNA of the past, okay, and learning from the present, okay, and then evolving on the present for the future. That's what the design statement is put together. It's an evolutionary process. Uh, Okay, I think it's a very simpler, you easily can comprehend. You don't need any voiceover for the same. It's so well defined, I think, in the same, right? Now we are writing blogs nowadays, which people used to write on the wall. So wall concept was there, which we put wall के ऊपर कुछ डाल दो type से ना, आजकल हम करते हैं ना Facebook के ऊपर. So it's the same. Imagine 750 kilometers. मतलब यहाँ से आप गुजरात में देख सकते हो with the smoke. It's like that. Little lesser than Gujarat, not Gujarat basically. थोड़ा सा कम होगा. 750 kilometers, quite a lot. So long distance communication already existed. So now it got modified over the period. Pony Express. So at one point of time, वो एक लंबा सा एक लेके आता था ना पत्र पड़े हुए राजा का. So that mail, which we call it as in today's time email. Semaphore flag. Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, semaphore, correct. Sign. Now, what is a semaphore? Semaphore is basically, oh yeah. Okay, semaphore is basically, it's a sign flag. Semaphore is, if you will use or you will hear this term mostly where it was used. If you remember, जो port होता है ना, port के ऊपर there's a sign, a chimney kind of thing. There's a tower, okay. So which actually it has got a light or some flag kind of thing. So in earlier days, it was an indication for the ships, for the navigation, so that they don't get lost their ways. So every different at the places, it will be shown this flag, okay. So that's what semaphore is. CEMA. Sem means your sign and for means flag. Semaphore flag, okay. So that's what it is, sign language. See, Correct. So basically, what was that? It's telegraph which had been introduced, okay, in the for the communication purpose, right? And you see those I talk how to we call it as semaphore, okay, semaphore they call it, but I call it as semaphore. So semaphore is what? It's basically a sign signal. We get to see the signal, the red light signal ke upar, there's a traffic police standing, okay, some people stopping. So all these have been coded. So this have been picked up from where? It has been picked up from our ancient time, from our early time. So it has been coded in our today's society in our own terms. But some of them, they are universal signs, like for the what do you call the traffic wala jo light hota hai, okay. So red is meant for danger, which is universally accepted. Same goes for green and for the orange. If you go anywhere in the world, you will see these three signs, okay, which is actually operating the entire navigation system across the city or the country. So it is universally accepted, okay. So that's also a language which is a universal coded language, okay. So semaphore happens to be one of them. See, sad. Amplitude modulation. Correct. So in the last century, if I talk about 18th century, last century, 18th century mid towards mid, people started with this, technology, and especially in the communication field, or how the magnetic field can be used for the communication. That's what the scientists they were using. So Marconi is one, Jagdish Chandra Bose, all these people they did their contribution. But at the same time, the last one was the Marconi, who had actually, over the period, he, kind of consolidated in a better manner as compared to anyone else. Okay, and that's how it has been. Marconi has been known as the parental of radio. It's okay. Radio was still fine going on. Okay, people were doing some kind of a research, some work was going on, still some development was going on, but the need of this happened in the World War. In the World War, then people realized the potential of this communication device and why it needed to be integrated in a much more larger scale and much more stronger scale. Okay, and that's where the technology came into the play, and people they understood the significance of working towards it. So the 19th century was completely into the mechanical and into the technology aspect. Okay. Look at this. So this after Second World War, the Public Switch Telephone Network, PSTN. So that's what came into the play. What exactly it was? Uh, it's basically your local phone is getting connected to your local network area, which is like there, and from there it gets to the city, this hub, and from there city hub it goes to the country hub, from the country hub it goes to the continent, then it goes to the global. If you can remember, there was a trunk call kind of a thing which used to go, so it had got so many of layer to pass through, to get connected with someone. So that's why hello आवाज नहीं आ रही है, ये नहीं हो रहा है, all that used to happen, na? So it was because of the same. But at least they started off, the technology started taking off, and especially from the Second World War onwards, people, they just thrive onto the technology as much as possible. If you can see 1950 onwards, the maximum work has happened in the technology, maximum work. Again, I'm repeating, maximum work has been done after 50, but the work already started prior to the First World War. Okay, but that was on a still trial and error research. But uske baad to pura at the way nowadays for the corona vaccine, everyone is working towards the same. Even our Baba Ramdev, So that's all. So if you can remember, in I categorically remember in 1994, 93, yeah, kind of 96. Having the landline phone was a status symbol at home. It was actually a status symbol. मतलब किसी के घर में अगर लगा हो तो ऐसा लगता, अरे वाह, थोड़ा सा यूं होता था, और अगर वहां पे जाते थे कि सर एक कॉल करना है, तो फिर वहां पे लगा देते थे ऐसे चिटकी, पर कॉल 3 रुपीज, वो ऐसे लिख भी देते थे वहां पे, ये नहीं तो सारे आके वहां से फोन कॉल कर रहे होते थे, तो पड़ोसी होने का ये मतलब थोड़ी है कि सब आ जाओ, So that is the kind of thing. But nowadays, see the technology, how it has been changed over the period. Now it's so, समझ नहीं आता कि इसको कैसे फिनिश करें, आज का टाइम ये हो गया. So it's an evolution of the technology, the design. Okay, then go to the next. Say telephone. See. So this is the presentation so far. So what I tried to establish out here is history, not in that boring manner where only the kind of a gyan is being given. I don't like giving gyans. I don't like it actually. Neither taking nor giving. Little bit is fine, but वो बोर जब करने लग जाता ना, तब हम तो डैड की नहीं सुनते, इतना ज्ञान तो वाली बात हो जाती है. So I'm just kidding, but at the same time, it's better to have, seeing is believing, and having some kind of interactive thing is much better. So that's what my kind of एक छोटा सा प्रयास था आप लोगों के लिए. I don't know how much it was successful, whether you could grab something out of it, because I really did not want to have a long note of history of design, ye wo. So I tried to kind of correlate with the present scenario. Okay, taking something from the history, present, and then what we can go in the future for the same, and what are the options lying ahead with us. So I think we are very much on time. It's good. I think 6 o'clock I finished. Okay, and okay, great.
Yeah.
So any question you please you can ask me anything. First of all, was this helpful for you or not? At least could I sensitize you a little bit so that you can churn out some kind of exercise yourself for the student? Yes or no? By seeing this, will you be able to do that? Great. Who else? I can see some hands. Misha, thanks. Okay. Great. Ipshita also I can see. Great.
Raj, if you could just close down the sharing, if you've done with the PPT, then we can see.
Sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. How do I do?
Yeah, now we'll be able to see more people.
Not leave. How do I to learn this one? Yeah. So any question, anything which you would like to share with me? Anything, any sort of thing. Was it fruitful or not?
Okay, I'd just like to add something here, that introduction like this is very important when you start with any kind of design class, because a lot of our students, I would say about 99% of our students have absolutely no idea what design is. They come with a lot of misconceptions, they come with ideas which are absolutely the opposite of what design is supposed to be. और जब उनको ये basic understanding नहीं होती कि design क्या है, so they get mixed up. When you start teaching them, they feel कि ये हमको क्यों करा रहे हैं, इसका कोई फायदा नहीं है. So if the orientation is done, if the people attending the class are aware कि ये design हम इसको कहते हैं, इसको नहीं कहते हैं. You know, a lot of times people confuse art and design. People confuse making things beautiful. All they seem to understand from design is कि इसके ऊपर अगर हम कुछ कारीगरी कर देते हैं, कुछ गोला गलता बना दें, इस पे कलर चढ़ा दें, तो ये डिजाइन है. No, that is a very small part of design. So that is something that needs to be clarified. That is why these things are pretty important. Terms like form and function need to be clarified, both in fashion as well as interiors, because ये जो भी आपने ये सब देखा है, this is basically just form and function. जो जूसर वाला example राज ने दिया था, so the function remains the same, the form keeps changing. That is something that you got to keep in mind. That एक जो basic function है कि orange में से juice निकालना है, वो किसी भी चीज में change नहीं हुआ, but the form kept changing because of changes in technology. Maybe your requirement changed a bit, you wanted something more fancy or maybe more playful or whatever. So the form changed, the function never changed. So these are terms which need to be clarified to the students. They need to understand कि okay, ये दो चीजों को balance करना ही is all about design. If you've understood कि function क्या है और form क्या है, दोनों को confuse नहीं कर रहे हो, दोनों को misuse नहीं कर रहे हो, then you've got the basic idea of what is required from you as a designer to be doing. I hope I'm right, Raj.
Yeah, absolutely. You're bang on. सही बोला है. इसके साथ एक और भी है जो मैं यहाँ पे बोलना चाहूँगा कि हमारे जो students जो है ना, see they have got this. ठीक है, ये generation कह लो या जो भी कह लो, there is a problem. Like we are very much impatient. ठीक है, आज के टाइम पे हमें तो सीधा वो चाहिए कि ये बताओ करना क्या है. हमें तो सीधा इंटीरियर्स ही करना है. अरे यार, ऐसे इंटीरियर्स नहीं होता है, ऐसे नहीं होता है. ऑन व्हाट ग्राउंड्स? अगर आपको यही चीज करना है तो उसके ऊपर एज जस्मीन सेड कि वो गोला बनाना है, कुछ करना है, तो यू आर नॉट डिजाइनिंग, यू आर जस्ट एम्बलिशिंग इट, यू नो, यू आर जस्ट ब्यूटिफाइंग, ट्राइंग टू ब्यूटिफाई इट or ornamenting it. Okay, that's not the design. Design is you get into the crux of it, you get into the basic DNA of it, decode it, again code it, and then put it together so that you can do the justification, because it is just because design is not just instant solution, it is a long-term solution, it's a long-term process, you know, which so that's what the design is all about. So that needs to be embedded with students, that there is a process, okay, for the same. And for the process, you need to have the history to be understood. If I give you the brief, I'm just giving an example. If I give you a brief, okay, to make a maybe what do I say? If I ask you to make some kind of a temple, you know, okay, and I say that this temple should not be a typical of that Hindu temple, okay. I want this temple to be having some kind of a, you know, very European kind of you know, aesthetic appeal into it. Now, what will you do? Now, there are two things. First of all, one, कि जो हम देख रहे हैं आज तक टेम्पल जो हमारा बन रहा है, चलो आजकल न्यूज़ में बहुत सारा चल रहा है, टेम्पल इस टाइप का कुछ बनता है, तो एक तो आपने वो डाल दिया. The second way of doing it कि टेम्पल मैं किसकी बात कर रहा हूँ, टेम्पल में भी मैं कौन से टेम्पल की बात कर रहा हूँ. Am I talking about the South Temple? Am I talking about the North Temple? Am I talking about East Temple? Which temple I am talking about? Okay. Then क्या मैं ऐसा कर सकता हूँ कि एक तो मैं ये है कि जो हमने पहले whatever we have learned, okay, first of all I will get into the history of the same, okay, do the research part, how everything the architecture was, okay, and then put it together. Now the second part is, can I do the amalgamation of the European okay, and the Indian context both together, and then coming something new. And that can only happen when it will be seamless. Okay, it should not be a cut paste. It should be morphing from one to another one. And that can happen if I have read very well the European architecture, which is maybe the Baroque or whatever you call it as, the number of architectures. So is that the kind of architecture, Gothic architecture and all? These architectures with the temple, my temple, South ka temple ya fir North ka temple, and then seamlessly putting them together. And then that's how I will be coming with a good solution for the same, right? So this is my take. So students should be told that this is the process with which you need to go ahead. Okay, it is not just cut paste uthaya seedha dal diya. Okay, so this was the whole essence of this session today, that looking into the history, taking the present and working towards the future. That's what it is. Okay. So anything else?
Yeah, Raj, I just wanted to add one thing in this.
Oh, hi. Good to see you. You're always behind the curtain, always. Huh? Okay.
Just like all the faculty who's attending this program, I just that आप लोग जब ये course कर रहे हो, this whole course motive was that we actually put it to our students also. So अगर आपके queries ho, या when you are also side by side taking these classes, you come up with any problem. See, this is not for today's session, but for the coming sessions, because I would want that whatever you are learning, you need to incorporate it, otherwise you'll forget it. So maybe, when you are, because it's a beginning, and the whole exercise of doing this workshop was that you don't think that we'll start it later next year. Immediately start putting this, because we all the students who have come, majorly क्या होता हमारे बच्चों का कि when we start कि like हाँ design है मतलब frog बना दो, suit बना दो, and that's the end. Then you will see that हमारे students का interest January के बाद होता ही नहीं है, वो drop out शुरू कर देते हैं क्योंकि उनका जो thought process है वहीं पर खत्म हो जाता है. So I would want that whatever we learn, I would want that simultaneously you start teaching it also. तो आपके क्या होता है कि एक बार जब आप सुनते हो तो उसको utilize भी कर सकते हो, and आपकी जो queries होगा, then you can come back to Raj and put it across. Probably then we will have much more to be understanding. It would be learning, experiencing, coming back, and that's the whole idea about doing this session. Otherwise, we could have called all the teachers or the faculties, but we have picked up only a few, so that whoever is doing it does it with proper concentration and interest. And agar aap log ko karna hai, so it has to be, and Raj, I would want that you give them assignments also, and we need, right? And it's a request to all the faculties that when there's a PowerPoint presentations happening and all that, you can always delete, take off the video or this thing. But when Raj is speaking, I would want that still their teachers or faculties who have just put their names and they've cut the videos. Isse kya hota hai ki you really don't know whether the person is there or not. And I will be monitoring in this workshop, because I was quite delusioned with the last workshop we had. So it would be a little harsh this time, but I would want that we all have your videos on. We need to be giving our assignment, because the moment you stop giving, I'm going to be not putting you into the next workshop of ours, right? Is that all right, Raj? If we are little, because I would be taking it seriously, because I wanted to be reaching the students. I'm not doing for the fun of just having a workshop. I would want that whatever we learned should be eventually directed. Like you had said in the first meet of us, that there's always a return on investment. And in this workshop, look for that. Are we all right with the whatever I'm saying, guys? I need a thumbs up from everybody. Yeah. So it's a request.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a little polite way of putting it forward, that I would want it to be benefiting with our students. Ek baar karo, maza bhi aayega. So whatever you learn, you can always put it to the students, and whatever queries can be again put it forward to it. Huh? Or aap log,
just एक छोटा सा और कहना था. See, basically whatever I'm doing, limited time आपके पास भी है, limited time मेरे पास भी है. I slept last night at 1 o'clock. Okay, I'm doing this presentation for you, and it was very, very difficult. I did not know how to put it together for you people. Okay, but I tried. Now beyond that, अगर आपको एक sensitivity मिल गई है, अगर आप उसमें आगे जाना चाहें, you can share with me. You can say that हमें ये कुछ मिला है, आप इसके बारे में क्या सोचते हैं? लेट्स हैव अ डायलॉग, लेट्स नॉट हैव अ मोनोलॉग. आप मेरे से सुनेंगे, सुन के देखेंगे, भूल जाएंगे. जब तक आप उसके अंदर इन्वॉल्व होकर मेरे साथ बात नहीं करेंगे, आप चैलेंज कीजिए मुझे कि आप गलत हो. मैं तो एक्सेप्ट करना चाहता हूँ कि मैं गलत हूँ. आई रियली वांट टू. एटलीस्ट समवन इज देयर हु इज टेलिंग मी आई एम रॉन्ग. आई विल बी रियली हैप्पी. And that's what it will be showing, that there is an involvement of few people. Because if you do so, you will be cascading the same to your students as well. And believe me, if students starts cross-questioning you, you should be the happiest person, that this is the person who's taking the advantage of your being present there. That's what I look into the things. Okay. So on this note, so shall we call off today, or what does it seem like?
Raj, before we stop, if you have anything particular that you want them to carry for the next class, Monday को जब हमारी class है, if you want them to be prepared in some way, you can just give them some idea of what we're going to be doing. And if you want them to be taking notes, because we need to ensure that people are serious. Because अगर सब लोग time pass कर रहे हैं, वर्षा ने मुझे पूरा अपना घर दिखा दिया, बहुत बढ़िया है. एक भी कमरा नहीं छोड़ा. वर्षा ने कहा ये रह गया, ये कोना भी देख लो भैया. तो
मैम बारिश हो रही है.
अच्छा अच्छा, तो अंदर बैठो ना भाई.
नहीं मैम, वो क्लोथ थोड़े से होते हैं तो इसलिए.
अंजू मैम ने डरा दिया, बोला कैमरा ऑन करो, तो वर्षा ने बहुत सीरियसली ले लिया. What I'm saying is कि अगर आपको कुछ लगता है, they need some, if you're going to start with some kind of sketching or anything, so if you want to give them a little idea, maybe next class के लिए नहीं चाहिए, उससे next चाहिए हो, तो आप इनको थोड़ा सा idea दे सकते हैं कि material क्या required होगा, कैसा चाहिए होगा.
देखो सेकंड वाले के लिए तो what I will be saying, सेकंड वाले में just if you can show something to me, okay, I would be really architecture, थोड़ा सा architecture को आप देखिए कि कैसे it has been transformed. Okay, number one. Secondly, apart from the architecture, छोटा सा कोई fashion को भी अगर आप करना चाहें तो, ठीक है, एक छोटा सा fashion वाला, कि उसमें आपको क्या लगता है?
I saw real fashion yesterday in the flight, where the air hostesses are all looking like some people in the NASA or somewhere, and we were looking like I don't know.
आपको ये नहीं लगा कि मार्स जा रहे हैं कि इंडिया जा रहे हैं? कहाँ पहुँचे?
मुझे तो ऐसा लगा जैसे मैं सबसे बड़ी मुजरिम हूँ और मुझे बाहर देश से पकड़ के यहाँ ला रहे हैं. Police every minute asking us questions. Police coming with us. There is like.
Were they wearing this kind of a mask? It was like a plastic shield, and it was like completely packed here.
We were gifted. We were also like that.
This has been designed by one of my senior. He's a very good friend of mine. Okay.
Design, like when you're talking about how design is changing with requirements, so this is the latest design.
Yeah, he's a very good friend of mine. Amit Prasad,
maybe we can have a small assignment, Raj. What I was thinking, maybe they can pick up any piece of furniture or a building or any object and just trace it ki over a period of time, how has it changed with through history. एक चेयर ले लो, एक ड्रेस ले लो, जैसे अभी आपने टेलीफोन का दिखाया है या जूसर का दिखाया, कोई ऐसे एक छोटी सी कुछ भी, one product or one piece of furniture, one piece of apparel, कुछ भी ले लो और उसको थोड़ा सा.
See, I thought of it, which was mainly for the kitchen. I was actually looking into the kitchen part. Okay, in your case, so students, you can take the kitchen, as a subject, and in kitchen you can take in kitchen whatever you want. I just leave up to you. It's an open-ended for you. Okay, which means you can take the utensils. You can take the utensils. Okay, you can take the जो चूल्हा जो था वो कैसे करते थे आग वाग जलाने का, whichever, or chimney का smoke, whichever you want, something which is prehistoric or the medieval. At least medieval तो होना चाहिए. ये नहीं कि मतलब 19th century से आ जाए, वो नहीं होना चाहिए. It should be at least medieval. Prehistoric हो तो nothing like it. It will be really, really great. So and how it has been changed, and there are some faculties out here who are into the kitchen design only. I mean, they're kitchen design specialists. Okay. Whom I met last time, so it will be great fun for them to look into the same, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Any one object from the presentation. Yes, yeah.
Correct. Just 3 slides. Just 3 slides, not more than that. 3 slides are good enough. Everyone 3 slides, okay? And gyan nahi, no gyan, bullet points. Read at least 5-6, sides at least, okay? And then just bullet points. That this is the learning, this is the key points which you are extracting out of it, okay? ठीक है?
Ma'am?
Done?
Yeah.
So in the next class...
I have a question.
Tell me, please.
Who has a question?
Siddharth.
Siddharth, please.
Yeah, actually, Jasveen, I had a question.
Yeah.
There's this one challenge that we do face with students. Because at INIFD we don't necessarily have a screening process, so we have all kinds of kids coming from everywhere who have very varied kind of interests and varied kind of capacity levels. So in a class of 30, a lot of times it happens that there are very few, like 6-7, who actually stay with the same interest till the end. But there are few who are always fluctuating. They come to ICE, they then disappear. And sometimes if you teach them hardcore design, they lose interest. And sometimes we are advised that we should make our classes entertaining and have more fun. We don't understand what is entertaining and fun. But I want to really understand how can we bring a middle path where we are able to satisfy both these categories of students.
Okay, so one piece of advice that I can give you, Siddharth, is make everything relatable. Don't give give examples. Give a lot of examples.
Yes.
Anytime you explain anything, give related to something they've used, they've seen, maybe physically, or maybe they've seen it on TV or anywhere. So that makes it very relatable. They understand. Okay, ठीक है, हम ये कुछ सोच रहे थे, ये ऐसा नहीं होता, ये ऐसा होता है. So examples are very, very important to me. Every time I want to get something across, that is one way of doing it. कि आप examples हैं, और वो 2-3 level के example होने चाहिए, because there might be students जिन्होंने बेचारों ने कुछ भी नहीं देखा होता. So the lack of exposure is a problem. You tell them, you talk about something, they've never heard of it, they've never seen it. So sometimes they get a little hesitant कि हमको तो कुछ भी नहीं आता है. So we get students like those also who feel a little shy, who feel a bit underconfident कि we are not aware about things, और हम कुछ पूछेंगे तो लोग हंसेंगे या हमारी बेइज्जती हो जाएगी. और that's a very, very major issue with students who don't speak up, who don't discuss, because एक हमारा education में problem है कि asking questions is kind of frowned upon. स्कूल में भी आप ज्यादा सवाल पूछो, आपको टीचर तंग हो जाता है, ये निकालो इसको, ये कौन है. तो वही सेम एटीट्यूड लेके जब बच्चे हमारी क्लास में आते हैं, इट इज वेरी, वेरी डिफिकल्ट. आई कंप्लीटली अंडरस्टैंड. जब बच्चे आपसे पूछ ही नहीं रहे हैं, जब बच्चे इंटरैक्ट ही नहीं कर रहे हैं, आपको बिल्कुल आइडिया नहीं है उनको समझ आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है, आप जो एग्जांपल दे रहे हो वो उनके यहाँ से जा रहा है कि यहाँ जा रहा है, you don't know. So that's why it's important to give examples of 2-3 variations, and आपको obviously as a teacher, obviously online में इतना नहीं पता लगता है. जब आप physical class ले रहे होते हो, you absolutely understand किसको नहीं समझ आ रहा और किसको समझ आ रहा है. So that is something that you learn with experience, that you get to understand कि okay, this lot is not getting my point. इनको maybe मेरी language में issue है, maybe मेरे example में problem है, इनको नहीं समझ आ रहा है. ठीक है, तो वो आपको it's a difficult job. I'm not saying it's easy, but you got to work it out according to that. Maybe Raj would have something different to add to it. Yeah.
More or less it's the same thing. Okay, visual context, that's it. It is the key. So summarizing it, visual context, and at the same time getting on to their issue, empathize. Empathize is the most important word, which means getting into their shoe, because they are not as equipped as you are in terms of the knowledge or exposure. So getting into their shoe and then build that visual context. Okay, this is one part. Second part is that assertiveness is very much important. When I'm saying assertiveness, it means you give assignment to the person, sit with that person, specifically say that little more time will be given to you if you take an interest. It's a two-way process, not one-way process. If the person is not at all taking interest, then you know that it's okay. Then he has got a different purpose to come here. It's okay. He will learn by its own. Either he will learn here in the institute towards the end of the semester when the juries are coming, or he will be learning in the market. Okay, so there are two ways to look into it. But at least from your side, there should not be any gap. That's what I'm saying. As a teacher, that's what my belief is. You try to give your 100% as much as possible. Visual context, relative visual context, empathize, empathy, two things. That's it. Fine?
Okay, I think people are a bit confused about the assignments to be done. So
Okay.
I'll just repeat what I have understood. You maybe Raj, if you feel I'm going wrong, just correct me. But
Yeah.
what you're going to do is go into your kitchen, pick up, look it up. कुछ भी आपको कोई utensil दिख रहा है, कोई tool दिख रहा है, कोई maybe मिक्सी दिख रही है आपको, कुछ भी दिख रहा है. You just need to trace back कि कहाँ से इसका idea क्या है, ये कहाँ से आया और ये कहाँ तक पहुंच गया है अभी तक. अगर आपने मसाला पीसना है तो पहले हम क्या करते थे, उसके बाद वो क्या हुआ, अब हमारे पास क्या मशीन है जिससे हम वही सेम काम कर रहे हैं. So basically you need to find 3 pictures which represent 3 stages of the evolution of that design. Is that clear to everyone? So kitchen mein any instrument, any utensil, any tool, whatever you want to call it, just look at it and just trace back कि history इसकी क्या है, ये कहाँ से आया, और just 3 pictures. अगर आपको ज़्यादा डालनी है ज़्यादा डालो, but minimum 3 of various stages of its evolution. Is that fine?
That's fine. But first of all, why needs to be given so much of brief? Because see, by the end of the day, you are the faculty, man. I mean, just wireframe has been given. Correct. As I told you, me and Jasween are not here to say कि ये right है wrong है. मैं नहीं हूँ. I'm not here. Absolutely not. You are the people who will be telling us कि हमने ये बनाया है. ये बताओ. Do you think it is right or not? Or do you think it's the correct direction or not? We will say absolutely fine. So you pick up whatever you want. You make a brief. You cook up a brief. You say मेरे को ये मिला था, मेरे को ये पसंद आया, मैंने इसको उठाया. And I'm trying to relate it here. Trying to relate in this direction. I may be wrong, I may be right. Who am I to say I'm right? No, so it's a debate, it's a discussion which we'll be having. Yes. I will look into something, you will also look into something. I will bring something for you, you also bring something for me. So that's how it's a study. It's a direction towards making some exercises for the students.
Yeah, this makes more sense. Okay? I absolutely agree. Raj is quite correct. He says this. Maybe we over inform our students, and we don't let them have the freedom to decide what they could do on their own. So I absolutely agree with what Raj has just said. Let it be an open-ended thing. Let's just see who comes up with what.
Yeah, as a faculty, for the faculty level, not for the student level, that is a different.
Assignment for this time, Raj. Maybe you can change it to something different if you want to. But I agree with you. Yes.
So in the next class when we'll meet up on Monday. Okay. Yeah, Monday. So first 15 minutes. Okay, I will be just picking it up. I'll just talk about little, and I think more or less all of them will be the same. Whatever. So I will for 15 minutes we'll talk about the assignment. Okay, which you people have presented, and then we'll continue with the next one. Okay. Meanwhile, what you can do, you can just have a look into some kind of an architecture or the fashion, some bit whatever how it has been evolved over the period, whichever you want to study, and you can discuss it with me, and you can give your ideas on the same. Okay. Great. So shall we call
excuse
it
me,
off?
sir.
Yes.
Just can you give me a minute?
Please carry on.
So I'd like to thank you today because
thank you very much.
I would like to tell you that I have benefited from the session because you've taken a lot of trouble, as you have explained to us. The reason I benefited is I take history as a subject for my students.
Fantastic.
So when I teach them, when we just put on the PPT, they see a stone age and then they start, making fun and smiling, and they can't relate to it. Then as I take them through the entire thing, then they start understanding. But still, that relation of having stone age there with design was, it takes me quite some time to get there and try to make them understand, because as Siddharth says that we have a mixed bag of students. But now, as you have, you have put light upon some places like natural intelligence, then you have social intelligence, and then how you carried it forward to technical intelligence, and then how the design evolution. So this is very helpful, like in class in the future also, if I ever take, so, or I can tell my faculty how to go about, doing these things in this manner so that, they can relate to the crowd instantly. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay. Can I just ask you something to return in written, if it is possible?
Yes.
Please don't call me sir. Please don't call me sir, because I'm not sir. Sir is a big, it's a big, बहुत बड़ी उपाधि, it's a big designation. I'm a very small person. Okay, I'm a learner for like you. You all are faculties. Okay, you are my peers, my colleagues. Okay, so please share with me whatever you have. It's just a sharing. I'm not teaching you. Don't call me sir. Okay, that's my humble request. Fine, Raj is fine. Sweet and short. Naam to suna hi hoga.
No, today we come to you as students. That's why the sir is important.
It's okay. Thank you very much for your great feedback, and it really motivates me that जो मैं रात को उठा था till 1:30, 1 o'clock, it never got into the waste. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you.